Yes.
T-Jizzle.
Welcome. Oh, Mizzle in the house.
Yep.
Welcome to another edition of Beyond Words.
Mhm.
Uh, I am with, of course, the O Mizzle. It is me, TJ Jackson, and we are here to discuss the last lecture, which.
Excuse me, Daddy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Rio just wanted to interrupt me. Yes, Rio.
Can I have the iPod?
Not yet. Okay. I can't believe on this live he's asking me. You just woke up, so I need you to do some flashcards. Then I'll get you the iPad.
I didn't. I ate breakfast.
Okay, so he ate breakfast, but still, you just woke up and then you ate breakfast. Look at his breakfast face. I'm sorry, Omar, but I guess people want to see it. This is what I'm dealing with. Say hi to Omar. Say hi to the world, and then I'll get you your iPad in a bit. Okay? Did you say hi?
Hi.
Okay. Sorry, Omar.
Daddy, I want to watch something on the iPad.
Okay.
On YouTube Kids.
Okay, go watch it. Go watch it. I guess I gotta let him go.
He looks really like you,
Omar.
TJ. He's like a mini you.
He looks like me, huh?
100%.
He's a good boy, but you know what, Omar? First of all, this is so off topic, but I'll share this real quick. He's getting to an age where he's learning how to negotiate. He knows that I'm in this situation where I can't move, so he knows if he holds his ground, he kind of gets what he wants. But I'm gonna have a talk with him after.
Did he just?
But before I do that, I want to talk about this book, if that's okay.
Yep, let's do it.
You know what though? Let's rewind a bit more because there's something I want to talk to. I haven't talked to Omar in about 2-3 days, and Omar is
That's a record.
It is a record. It's been probably Omar, months since we went that long without connecting or exchanging notes. True. But the reason why, first of all, if you've noticed, Omar looks a lot thinner.
You think?
Omar, yes, you look a lot thinner. Yes,
I think I did change.
Okay, so you've shaved.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that, but you look thinner. And do you want to share with the world why you may be looking thinner?
Yes, I can. All right, let's first start by the beginning. The beginning is you and I, and Tori, I think, was there too. We were talking about movies and stuff, and what came up was a movie with Christian Bale where he had to lose like a lot of pounds and become very, very thin to do that movie, like scary thin. And I looked up the way he did it. So like for 2-3 months, he only ate water, apple, water, and maybe some fish, I guess. But that's it, just for 3 months. And he'd get to the point where he was so thin that you could see all his bones. And Christian Bale is like, he's pretty fit. Like if you look at him in the Batman movies, he's a fit guy, And I was thinking, what goes through your head when you eat so less and you have a goal? So like you're choosing to eat less, Yeah. And you have to go to get where you want to go. And for him was to do that movie, but he needed to get thin to do that movie. So what I did, and that was 10 years ago, like in 2011, somewhere around there. I did that, but only with an apple because I don't like fish. So water, apple for 3 weeks. And I probably lost like 13 pounds, 15 pounds around there in 3 weeks. I got really thin. Anyway, all that to say that TJ and I were speaking and we were thinking about maybe doing something like that, but just for a week, maybe together.
Yes.
Just to, thin out a bit, feel good. Because I'm the worst eater. I have to say that.
And I'm the second worst eater.
Yeah. I think we're on the same level. Starburst, chocolate, cereals. You can name it. Pizza.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's good just to, thin out a bit. And so what I decided is 1 week ago to do a fasting. So this time was only water for 7 days straight. So 7 days till now. Wow. I will finish in 2 hours because I started last Sunday.
Okay. Real quick, I got to ask you a couple questions. I know this is on the last lecture, and we'll get to there. But how do you feel, first of all? Because I've only done 4 days of nothing, just water. Yeah. And I felt, the first 2 or 3 days was tough. but day 4, I actually felt pretty good. My
Yeah.
question to you is, how are you feeling on day 7?
7, you know what? Actually, it wasn't the first 3 days that were hard for me. I thought it would, because that's where your body's like asking you for some food. But probably the yesterday and today is the worst, because I know I can eat in a few hours, So maybe that's just the mind, going on.
Yes.
But
because you knew the end was near, you could start tasting food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I will say this, Omar. I'm impressed with you. I'm proud of you. I commend you. I know how difficult that is to do. But like you said, this is a great opportunity. You're quarantined anyway. You're isolated. So I was worried about you the first several days. I would check in and make sure you were alive. But when you were starting to say you were great, I didn't want to also interrupt the flow. So I'm proud of you. I haven't seen or talked to you in a couple of days, but well done.
Thank you, TJ. And let's go back to you a moment. When you did this, and then we'll go on the topic of the book.
Yeah.
When you did this, so you did this for 4 days straight, right? Just water, or did you have a little
I had water. No, I didn't have anything, just water.
So for me, it wasn't the worst, the first day, but for you, I guess it was reversed. So the first day were the hardest.
Yeah.
How would you describe the first days of your water fasting?
The first day wasn't bad. Day 2 was, I started getting some headaches, serious hunger pangs. My stomach would want to eat, but once you eat, it's tougher for me too, Omar, because when you have kids floating around, you need to feed them. So you have to go around the kitchen, you have to go around the pantry, you have to go around food. You see them eating, and it gets very, very difficult. So I'm not saying it was easier for you, because I don't want to diminish your accomplishment.
No, but you're right.
When I had to do it, I had to separate myself for a 3-day period. And then I had to come back to the real world. And once you do that, it's very tough. But I again, I think highly of you, because it's something that I think is very healthy. I read a book on it, and about how your body can use that time to recover and clean itself out completely with water. And who knows what everyone is putting in our food. So to give your body that chance to recalibrate, I think is a beautiful thing, and I commend you. Let me ask a quick question to everyone who's watching. Could you do a 7-day fast? That is the question. Should we keep it at 7 days, or should we go a 3-day fast? Because I don't think many people could do a 7-day, let alone a 3-day.
I think you can, maybe the best thing is to do 3 days. And if you feel like you can do the 7 days, you go then for the 7 days. But the first goal must be 3, I think.
Okay, so that will be the question I want to ask. First question I want to ask: can you do a 3-day fast? Right?
Yeah,
that's the question. So feel free to answer in the comments. I want to know who could do it. Maybe I'll ask you guys and bring a couple in and read a couple comments on who can do it. We already see some nopes. Nicole. Kelly says yes. Nicole over here says she's done a 9-day. That's impressive.
Very impressive.
Lena does intermittent fasting, which is something I try to do. It's since the quarantine and coronavirus, I haven't been able to do that well at all. But I usually do intermittent fasting as well.
That's like eating 1 time a day. I guess,
2 different ways you could do it. You can either eat within a window, or you can eat regularly for 5 days, and then 2 days a week you're on a very diminished calorie count.
Okay.
Yeah, Eden says, as a Muslim, I fast from dawn to dusk for 30 days. It's beautiful. And Linnell wants to know, is it healthy though? I personally think it is, Linnell. I think 7 days is a good amount. I think as you go longer, it could get less healthier. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist, but from everything I've learned and read, it's healthy, because your body needs a chance to catch up. And even I was telling Omar in a book I read called Gut, when your stomach is making noise, at least in the Western culture, or I should say, at least here in the States, we attribute that to our stomach being hungry. our stomach talking to us. So when you hear that rumbling in your stomach, it's really just your body, because it hasn't gotten food, finally able to digest certain things and to work in a different way. So I just think things like that, which has been misconstrued, I think is the reason why we are afraid to try things like this, because any chance we've gotten, I think we've been kind of conditioned to eat. I don't know if it's because of a business thing from all the big businesses who profit when we eat as much as we do. And let's not forget, it's just not food. It's also the health industry, medicine and everything, from supermarkets. They all benefit by us eating a lot. So I don't know what the reasoning is, but I do remember this. I could say this. I remember when I did it, I felt great as well. So I do suggest, if you thought of it, as long as you're healthy and able to do it, maybe go see a doctor. I suggest you to go see a doctor to make sure. But if you try it and you feel well, I want to know. So let us know.
And TJ, you said something interesting, like when you're on your 4th day, you feeling good. And that's something you mentioned that's cool, because like the more you go into it, for some reason you don't eat, but you have great energy. And you feel lighter, and your mind is more clear. How did you feel on that 4th day?
Same. I felt great. I think I even posted it on my Instagram. The first thing I had was a banana, and I think
that's a cool story.
Yeah, there's a picture of me somewhere on my feed, probably a couple years ago, where I'm eating a banana and smiling. But to be honest, I didn't need that much more food that day. I just ate because I was free. And it's so interesting how, I don't know if it's through advertising, through the way they package things, the coloring, but I feel we all are overeating. And I think by doing fast like this, our stomach shrinks, and I think we realize we may not need as much. We may not need to put as much in our body as necessary. I will say this: we have to continue to drink water, though. If you do decide to fast, make sure you drink water. And that was the message I kept sharing to Omar, is to keep drinking water. And of course, if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, do not do this. As Muriel says, she can't because she's breastfeeding. Perfectly fine, perfectly. And I'm not even encouraging anyone to do it. I'm just sharing my experience. And since Omar's in his 7th day without eating anything, how much longer, Omar? Another hour and a half?
Yeah, I guess just after this review, I can go. So if we can finish in 3 minutes, that will be good.
I love it, Omar. All right, Omar, let's get into the book.
Yeah.
You ready for this?
I am. You already read it once, so you read it like a few years ago, right?
I read it, Omar. Oh, longer than that. It was probably closer to 10 years.
So, like, did you rediscover the story?
I did, but you know what's so funny? I've said this before. My memory is not the best, but when it comes to reading, it's better than normal. And I think it's because I really take my time. I underline, I annotate it, which means I make notes, and I really try to digest and think. So I take a long time reading, but I really take it in. And this was a book that I remembered quite well, actually. And and I thought that's why I felt, especially during this time when people are losing loved ones. I just lost my brother-in-law to a bout of cancer, so I thought of him immediately. But we're all having to deal with more loss now that we're in this situation with the pandemic. So I just felt it was a cool book to share with our group. And I remember reading it back probably, like I said, about 10 years ago. The book came out in 2008. It's been a national bestseller, New York Times bestseller. It was written by a professor by the name of Randy Pausch. I may be saying his name wrong, but he was a professor of computer science, human-computer interaction, and design at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I remember, I think it was, at that time, and I still do, I like to look at the bestsellers, the nonfiction bestseller books. And I think it was number 1 or it was top 3. And I always try to listen in and read what it's about. And I remember when I read the synopsis of this book, it grabbed me because, he had a terminal cancer, Mr. Pausch did, and the way his spirit was intriguing to me. It was very soft and very beautiful and light, and I found that completely intriguing and interesting, because most of the time when we know someone is dying, or when we know we're in a very bad position, we get very heavy in a sense. We get very dark and very sluggish, and I just wanted to understand where his mindset was, and how he came about that. And by doing so, I read the book, and I remember thinking, this guy's amazing. I love his spirit, and love what he's about. And I thought it was great.
Can I ask this? I don't know if I can ask this, TJ, but how did you deal with your brother-in-law situation?
Yeah.
How was your feeling about this?
Tough. It was tough for various reasons, because it was really my first time dealing with cancer directly. I've lost friends, I've lost people I've known to cancer many times, but this was the first time I've lost someone that's equivalent in my age. Downey, I believe, was just 50 when he passed. And I'm 10 years behind that, a little less than 10 years behind that. But what I saw was, he's someone that was always vibrant, so always happy, always just a great person. And in a way, like another big brother to me. So he was a very important person in my life, and of course in my wife's life. And just seeing the change over time, physically, emotionally, mentally, it's tough, because in a way, I felt like I still didn't handle it the way I should have. I do my DDJF with my brothers, and I've learned so much on how to deal with loss, and how to be ready for it, and what to do. And I still am not happy with how I handled that. It was hard for me to reach out to him, because it was hard for me to tell him, I didn't want to confront that it could be my last time talking to him. And I always say this on the DDJF Power of Love show. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, because I don't want to say, it's hard for me to say, you look great when I could see you're sick. It's hard for me to say, you got this, when it's not looking well. So I'm still in that learning phase of learning exactly what to say. And some people have it. Some people, it comes natural. For me, it just doesn't. I don't know if it's because something, my experiences as a youth, I don't know what it is, but I struggle with dealing with people who are losing their lives.
Yeah.
So anyway, I lost my brother-in-law. It's been a couple of weeks now, and it still sucks. It still hurts, and it's it gets me thinking many different things. He got to share some of his ending moments with his kids, which is the most important thing. But I do kind of regret not reaching out more. And again, I think this is something, being a Jackson, I don't like bothering people. So oftentimes when something severe happens in my life, I'll get hundreds and hundreds of messages, and I love where they all come from. But it can get tough, because then I have to relive that situation hundreds of times. So and as you get older, you start getting more mature about how to handle that. But it's something I haven't made the connection in my mind that's not a reason to not properly reach out and connect with someone. And I did get the chance to talk to him and do all that, but I needed more. I needed Francis with me. I couldn't just do it on my own. And that's something I hope to change, because it's not something that sits well with me.
And how do you because of course this is Francis' brother, how do you, as a husband, what is the best way to support someone that is connected, like that's her brother? How would you support? What would you be advice for that?
I think you just got to be there. You just have to be there. And the thing that I've really learned is there's no right or wrong way to handle that situation. Whatever it is, if that significant person of yours wants to laugh, let them laugh with them. If they want to cry, let them cry. You have to just be able to be there with them, through this time. And you know, I don't think there's really a roadmap on how to handle that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just try to be there as best as I can. Um, and yeah, that's all I can say. You know, I try to make sure there's not additional stressors.
Mm-hmm.
But as Nicole says right here, everyone grieves in different ways, and I think that's the most important thing you could take away from what I'm trying to say. There's no right or wrong way, whether you're the one who's supporting someone or you're the one who's, you know, really dealing with the grief.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong way, you know, and that's it. Omar, real quick, we're gonna have a guest join us, but before we do, I want to get something in with the last lecture and talk about one quote that I found awesome. You can, if you don't mind.
Sure.
And I think what I would like to share about this is, I think a lot of people, if you read the book, if you read the first half, like me and Omar did, you sense someone who's has a great perspective of life and how to see life, and how important it is to live life the right way. I didn't quote this specific thing, but he says something about living instead of focusing on the dying, focus on what you'd lived. And I just found that profound. One quote I do want to discuss is where he says, "We cannot change the cards we are dealt, just how we play the hand." And to me, we've heard this quote many times. But at least for me, when I reread this, this is the ultimate time to be saying that. You know, this guy is going to die. This isn't about you know, not being privileged to a certain school, or not being privileged to certain means, or being born in a different place, or whatever it is. I've seen that quote when it comes to simple, I don't want to say simple, but non-life threatening type of things like that. But when it comes to cancer and a terminal cancer where you're going to die, to have the mindset of we cannot change the cards we're dealt, just how we play the hand, was very powerful to me. And I love it because he says this is like an ongoing theme in the book. He continues to say, you know, we have two options. We can choose to dwell, or we could choose to make the best of it. And he continues to say that. And I feel that even in my life, I've never met him, but he made an impact, you know, and he kind of helped me continue to be an optimist in life.
Yeah. And the whole book, well, the first half that I read was like, it's in a very positive tone. Like, it's not very dark or anything. He's always writing in a positive tone and trying to bring that like kind of vibe to what you're reading. And I love that about him.
Let's have Casey join us. How are you, Casey?
Good.
Oh, yes. And we have a group with Casey. We have Casey, and I could see who's next to you, but you may have to scoot there we go. Is your daughter, Casey?
This is Lily.
Hi, Lily. How are you? So you guys are doing well. I know, Casey, I know you're from here in the States.
Yep.
How are you doing with everything, first of all?
Not too busy. We really didn't shut down much except for our dining room, so we've been going full blast.
Okay. And I know Casey works at Chipotle, one of my favorite places, but in case you didn't know, now you do know. But okay, Casey, did you read the first half of the last lecture?
I did.
You did. And what do you got for us? What did you want to share? What was your opinion on it?
So far, I've really enjoyed it. I wanted to keep going, but I had to get some sleep at some point.
Yes. Yes.
I liked his outlook. He turned it, you know, he knew he was dying, but yet he was still so positive about everything.
Yeah.
To me, that was incredible.
Yeah. And when you read it, did it take you to personal experiences or personal things you are going through, and how you
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that's the power of reading, and power of reading a positive, inspirational book. And that's why, for me, I love these kind of nonfiction true stories, because Randy's no longer with us. And, you know, when he wrote this book, he knew he only had months to live, yet he genuinely lived his life the best it could be, you know. And I think it's just a constant reminder for us who are going through difficult times, whether it's loss of job, loss of items, just loss in general. It can all be brought back. What can't be brought back is the time, the love we have for our kids, and the experience and memories we make. Right, Lily?
Yeah.
But I think that was for me the takeaway is to refocus what really matters and to live however many years we get to live the right way.
Yeah, he absolutely did his best to also leave something for his children.
Yeah.
And I also saw you can actually watch the actual lecture itself on YouTube.
Exactly. I think it's a little over an hour, but I haven't seen it, but
I haven't watched it yet either.
yeah. So, but you know what I'll probably do after reading, I'll probably watch it because this is like the behind the stage of that lecture. And I believe the second half goes into the lecture more, but either way, I just found it an inspirational book.
It's been amazing so far.
Anything else you want to add, Casey, or Omar, did you have a question?
I did. Casey, what is the best menu on Chipolote?
Huh?
What does that mean, Omar?
What's the best thing to take?
Oh, okay.
What's your recommendation?
From the, what do you mean, Omar? From the book or?
No, from where she works.
Oh, from
Chipotle.
Chipotle. What's the best thing to order?
Chipotle.
Okay, you know what? Hold on.
Sorry, I said it wrong. My bad.
Hold on, Casey.
I said it in another language, probably.
Before you answer that.
Chipolote. No. How do you say it? Chipolote? Say it again.
Oh,
Chipotle.
Okay, Chipotle.
I love it. Okay,
Sorry.
so Omar's French, and this is what I love. First of all, I commend you, Omar. You're brilliant. Speaking two language. And Omar reads these books in English, by the way. So yeah. But the one thing I want to say is in Europe, they often say take. Here in the States, we say order. So
okay.
So Omar, when he says what's the best thing to take, that's a European way. Maybe it's British. I don't know. Maybe our English watchers out there can let us know. But here in the States, we would ask, what's the best thing to order?
Okay. So what's the best thing to order?
But hold on. Before I ask that, I got to share your first experience at Chipotle.
Yeah, it was with you, actually.
It was with me, and we had just finished shooting. We had wrapped up the shooting for I Don't Deserve This. Yeah. So we were in the desert. We were hungry. It was late at night, so it was almost about to close. We found a Chipotle nearby. We got there, and Omar ordered exactly what I got. He asked what was the best thing. I said, I just go with the chicken quesadilla. So he had a quesadilla, and still to this day, he talks about Chipotle.
So good.
So I told you the backstory, but Casey, Omar wanted to know what's the best thing to order from Chipotle.
One of my all-time personal favorites is still the barbacoa, but I like spicy food.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a pulled beef, which is really good. I do like the chicken.
I said cheese quesadilla.
What's the barbacoa? What is it like made of?
It's.
I'm sorry, I'm hungry. That's why I'm talking.
Lily. It's beef, but it's got a lot of spices in it, so it's definitely a little spicy.
Nice.
So I usually alternate between that and the steak, depending on.
What is it called, Casey? Because I don't think I've even heard of this.
It's called barbacoa.
Barbacoa. Is that a new item?
Nope.
Okay.
It's actually one of our originals.
So I've never had the barbacoa, so I can't.
If you like spicy beef, you'd like it.
Okay. Well, there you go. If you like spicy beef, try the barbacoa from
barbacoa.
Okay.
It's hard to say.
Barbacoa. Anything else, Omar, you want to ask, or Casey, anything else you want to share with the last lecture, Chipotle, whatever?
I will say just regarding Chipotle, we did just open up one here with a drive-through.
For Chipotle? Yeah. They're doing drive-through now?
Certain ones.
Okay.
It's called a chip lane. So instead of having to come in and get it, you can literally just pull in.
Okay. Well, there you go. Casey, always doing her thing for Chipotle. And as a Chipotle fan,
I go there now, actually.
I appreciate it, Casey. And thank you again for doing your thing and being an essential worker during this time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Casey.
Bye, Casey. Bye, Lily.
Bye.
So there we go. We had Casey and Lily join us to chime in with the last lecture and tell us some things about Chipotle. Okay, Omar, one more quote.
Yep.
Brick wall, are there
Sorry, I'll
for
let
a
you read.
reason. They give us a chance to show how badly we want something. Your take on this, Omar?
I think it's like just the universe who's going to test you, like sometimes people are going to think it's too hard, that walls are coming through them when they want to get to something, and they're going to not go to it because it's too hard. And I think that's just like a test. So once you break that wall and you go through, there may be another one and another one and another one. But that just shows how badly you want it. And once you go through all the walls, sometimes there's gold behind it. So sometimes it's worth it.
A perfect example is this guy. He's back. Rio, yes.
Where's the iPad?
I don't know, my son. I love you. But you know what? Check under my bed. Okay? So that may have bought us a couple times, but Rio's persistent. It's a perfect example of breaking through a wall to get what you want. But I think it's this. I think most of us, we want to do a lot of things. Whatever our goals are, we have to accept that there's going to be obstacles, and not only that there's going to be an obstacle, it's just an opportunity. We have to reframe our mindset to think of it as an opportunity to prove how much we want something. I haven't read this book, but it's one of my books I want to read. So maybe we'll read it in Beyond Words. But Obstacle is the Way, which is by he's now become my favorite author. He was always number 2, but now Ryan Holiday is my number 1 favorite author. So it's a book by Ryan Holiday. I haven't read it yet, but he talks about this in his book. Obstacle is the way. We have to understand that to get what we want, there's going to be obstacles, there's going to be roadblocks, there's going to be brick walls, whatever term you want to use, we have to go through them, not around them. It's just part of the course, and it's just a test to kind of weed out those who really don't want something. So see it that way.
Yeah. I'll just add this to you. Sometimes when I see something is really hard to get or to do, that even like motivates me to do it and get it, because if it's not hard, it's just too easy. It's not fun in some way. So I think that's a good thing when it's a challenge and it's hard to do.
I'm going to add this quote. We could discuss this, Omar. Because this one, through the whole ordeal, I don't think we ever said to each other, this isn't fair. We just kept going. I have so many quotes up there. I don't know why. So I apologize for 4 quotes in this, in the quote. But quotation marks, I should say. But I think that's an important one because, again, and not to beat it over the head, but I find your perspective on things and how you want to take things is crucial in life. And if we can figure a way to always try to see the positive and to just get things done, it'll bring so much more value into our life. Through this whole cancer ordeal, they never said this isn't fair, or why me, or why you, or how could this be? They just kept going. And that's how you have to be in life. When life throws you a curveball, when life sets you up for a fall, you have to be willing to say, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to continue going forward. And you have to just go, One more big quote for me in this.
Daddy, look at that.
Sorry, everyone. Rio wants to show what he built, which is a Minecraft.
Yeah, it's a Minecraft thing, but you can't make it.
Okay.
Only snowman.
How about this? After my live, I'm going to go play with you. Okay. Let's see how that works. Okay. Anybody out there who is a parent, if your kids want to paint their bedrooms, as a favor to me, let them do it. It'll be okay. Don't worry about resale value on the house. This quote, actually, Omar, this quote was probably the one I remembered the most from my first read. So if you asked me a year ago, give me something, a quote, or what did you take away from this book? It was this. And I think it was this because, and this is probably going to be interesting to people. I grew up one way. I grew up, in the Jackson family where everything was clean and a lot of expensive things, and there's a lot of presentation. So when I read this, which was, and I'm not a clean freak, my family, is, but I'm not. But when I read this and the way it was delivered, it really changed my perception as a father and what I believed in as a father. If you look in my rooms now, you'll see pictures of drawings. You'll see kind of chaos. There's no really rhyme or reason. And I try to make sure, Rio's room right now has stars and planets and drawings and all various type of things in his room. And I think it's important to let your children have that expression, to let them be what they are and not worry so much about, the long term or the design of it. And that's something that I remembered from my first read 10 years ago, was to chill with that and to let your kids express themselves.
Yeah, and that was part of a few stories that he was talking about in the book. And the one I really liked, that's one of them that I really liked. He was talking about a story where his wife came to him one day saying, "I'm sorry, you're probably going to get mad at me, but the car is so damaged,
Great.
And and he was like, "It's all right, it's fine."
Yeah.
And she was like surprised, because the whole time that she wanted to go to him, she was scared that he was going to get mad and it's going to create all this fuss. And he just said to her that's what I really liked about him in this code, is that he said to her that if it's broken, it doesn't matter, because it kind of shows what we went through. It's like a proof of our life, of what happened.
Yeah.
And if it's not broken, don't fix it. It can still work. We can still drive to point A to point B.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. And I really like that take about him on that situation. He was great.
Omar, I'm so happy you brought this up, because that was another one that I was thinking about. And although there wasn't, to me, for me, a quotable thing I could copy and paste here to show that how powerful that was. That was definitely a very powerful moment in the first half of this book. Yeah. So often we wouldn't have that reaction, as people. And, when you're married and a wife or a husband has bad news to share, or is afraid of disappointing the other, oftentimes they will hide it, or they will lie, or change it up, or distort it a bit to ease the blow. And what that does is it creates kind of a lack of trust in a way. It can put you on a path of not being completely honest with your partner. And what I love so much, like you said, Randy said, okay, well, does it still work? Is it functional? Does it get you A to B? And when she said yes, he's like, okay, we're good then. Don't worry about it. And I can only imagine how Jay, his wife, felt when it's probably a big relief off her shoulders. And not only that, it encourages her to be more direct and open, and not and the other thing is not to stress so much, because stress is a real thing. Stress is something that causes a lot of issues in people, and it's not healthy for yourself. So I just love his take on life, and I think there's a lot all of us can learn about how to be in life and how to handle situations.
Yeah.
Let's add another guest. So with us we have Hope. How are you, Hope?
Hi there.
Can you hear us, Hope?
Oh, I'm well. I'm sorry, just one moment. I actually can hear you. I'm actually I think, yeah, okay. Yes, I actually can hear you. Let's see. Ooh. Let's see.
We could see and hear you, Hope. So you are good.
Yes.
How are you doing, Hope?
Hello. Yes.
Where you
I'm doing
from?
well. I'm actually from Virginia. Well, originally from New York City, but now I reside in Virginia, Central Virginia.
Cool. Well, thank you for joining us. And my first question is,
thank you for having me.
Did you read the first half of this book?
Yes, I did. About the first 6 chapters, and it was wonderful, and it was very inspirational. I love when he says, you can't choose the cards that you have, you receive, in the game, but you can choose how to play the game.
Yes, sir.
And that's something that really resonates with me because I've I now I'm learning that, okay, you know what, it's not so much what happens to you, it's how you deal with it.
Absolutely. And you know what I like about it too, Hope, and we've all heard that, like I said earlier, we've all heard that phrase or that quote or an iteration of it, but it always to me pertained to non-life threatening things, and for him to say this and make this his point when he's, has days left in his life, was
So
very
true,
profound,
so true.
was very
Yes, it was.
profound. So, it carried extra weight, you know?
Oh, it definitely did because I mean, I kind of like thought, well, wow, what if I had a few months to live?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
what would I do? And
Yeah.
I just love the way he totally handles how he's making sure his kids know that how much he loves them, and he's just continuing with his passion, and that's the whole point,
Yeah.
is to something great to leave behind. And it got me to thinking about that. If I were to, you know, if I were to be in that situation, or what would I want people to think of when they think of me?
Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful. All right. Hope anything else you want to add regarding the last lecture or anything?
Well, I'm just happy to actually have the chance to speak with you and Omar, and um, I'll continue reading, and it just and just to continue to grow,
Yes.
and to also understand if I can dream it, I can do it.
That's right. You know what I love about that? I was just looking over because I have a cheat sheet where I'm looking over my notes, and that was one of the quotes. So since you just said that, I'm going to add it here in this banner so we could see it. But here you go. I was just Walt Disney himself, who famously has said, "If you could dream it, you can do it." And
Absolutely.
I love that you referenced that. And Hope, I want to thank you for not only supporting me and my family, but supporting Beyond Words, and let's keep growing together.
Oh, of course. Thank you so much.
All right, Hope, we are going to let you go because we're going to close this discussion. But sending you love and have a great week. Okay.
Sending you
Thank you.
love. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Omar. TJ.
Bye. Sweet. I just love our people, Omar. We got good people, man.
That was a great thing she said at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really nice.
And here's the thing. I just think it's we're all in different situations, but we're all the same. We're all humans, and we all have similar emotions to things and similar responses to things. And even if you're not, Hope was in Virginia, so she's an American like me. But even if you're on the completely other side of the world, a lot of how we experience life is very similar, if not the same as you. And we all just want to live a happy life. I think that's the definition of a successful life, is being happy and making sure your kids and family are happy and healthy. And I think oftentimes the journey of life confuses that, and we can get lost on how to respond to things and how to ensure that happiness. And I just appreciate books like this and people like Randy who have that opportunity to help us find that way again, to find that simple, and I hate saying the word simple, but to finding that way of life.
Yeah.
Omizzle, anything else you want to share before we close out this edition of Beyond Words?
You know what I've been seeing this past week? A lot of people, I'm going back on that old Mizzle thing. A lot of people are liking the Izzle. So they're putting that back to their name.
Yes.
So maybe you have a family of Izzles here.
We do. Our whole world is Izzles, but you know what I love, Omar, is how you keep Omizzle on the screen. You're not. And here's another thing that I found interesting. Actually, you know what?
I think everybody should write their name right now with the Izzle at the end, just to see how that goes.
Just to see how it is, right? Good call. So write your name with Izzle at the end in the comments and just see how it is. But
yeah,
I don't know. It started off as a playful name for Omar, and it's spread into everything. And even I heard a couple people who have a child named Omar have given the nickname of Omizzle to their child. So I think it's a beautiful thing. It's a fun ring to it. It's nice. Lanizzle, I love it. Gina Izzle, Nizzle, Angelizzle, Suizizzle. Go ahead, Omar. You could keep them going. Lanizzle. It's fun, and I guess again, it's not something I created. I think it's a Snoop Dogg created it, or at least he made it popular. But it's just fun.
Love it.
Cool.
All
right, Omar. We don't have a movie yet that we're gonna do for next week, right?
We do not. Maybe we'll think about it and put it in the group when we have one.
So stay tuned, everyone. Make sure you are in the Facebook group if you want to get the information ASAP. That's for everyone who's watching on YouTube. Yes, there is a Facebook group. For our Facebook members, we will be telling you guys by tomorrow what movie we are going to review on Sunday. Keep the reading going, because not this Sunday, but the following Sunday, we will close out the last lecture. And also, let us know in the comments what you think, what you guys are enjoying about this, what you want more of, what you want less of. Let us know. There's no ego here. Feelings. Let us know. To all you mothers out there, on behalf, at least here in the States, in Brazil, I know they celebrate Mother's Day today. On behalf of me and Omar, happy Mother's Day. Enjoy your day with your family. Thanks for taking your time on your Mother's Day and spending it with us. We hope you brought you some enlightenment, some joy, some smiles. And God bless you all. Omar, anything else that I'm missing?
I'm going to go and eat now.
Oh, yes. Omar, well done, man. Well done. I'm going to call you in a bit, but
thank you.
On behalf of everyone in the Beyond Words community, well done. I'm impressed with you, bud.
Thanks, TJ.
All right, everyone. Take care. Happy Mother's Day.
Bye.